Everything you think you know about winning is about to be shattered. The world around you is ruthless, the odds are stacked, and the moment you hesitate, someone else is taking your opportunity. Tonight, we're not talking about theory or luck, we're talking about pain. Real, sharp, unavoidable pain. The kind that makes your hands shake, your heart race, and everyone else turn away. Most people flee when it hurts. Most people quit when the margin is razor thin, but not you. You're here because you want the edge. You want the insight no one else has the courage to face. And that edge, make no mistake, is born in the moments where everyone else screams, stop. This isn't a story about comfort. This isn't a lecture about playing it safe. This is a blueprint for dominating when the world bets against you, when the pressure is unbearable, and when the margin for error is non-existent. The next 30 minutes will expose what most people avoid, how to turn rejection into fuel, risk into opportunity, losses into acceleration, and your team into an unstoppable force. If you are willing to confront discomfort, embrace fear, and act when others freeze, what you will learn today will change everything about how you approach challenges, how you compete, and how you win. The question is simple. Will you step into the fire, or will you step aside like everyone else? Because make no mistake, the fire is already here, the pain is already real, and the winners have already started moving. The only choice is whether you're going to harness it or let it consume you. Rejection is not a sign of weakness, it is the currency of progress. The world doesn't reward ideas in isolation. It rewards ideas that survive scrutiny, that are tested in the harsh light of judgment, and that endure the skepticism of people who are convinced you won't make it. Anyone who thinks that winning is about smooth paths or guaranteed success is living in a fantasy. Real achievement, the kind that separates the exceptional from the mediocre, is forged in environments where you are constantly told no. Every refusal, every doubt cast upon your plans, every door slammed in your face is not an obstacle. It's information. It tells you what the world doesn't value, what it underestimates, and critically, where there is opportunity. Those who succeed understand this instinctively. They learn faster, adapt smarter, and most importantly, don't waste energy on resentment. Resentment is the luxury of the unprepared. You have to internalize a simple truth. Discomfort is not your enemy. It is your training ground. When a pitch fails, when a trade goes against you, when someone laughs at your conviction, that moment is not a signal to retreat. It is a signal to refine, to sharpen, to test again with precision. The people who shy away from rejection will always be at the mercy of circumstance. The people who welcome it, who confront, are the ones who seize advantage when others are frozen. Pain, in its many forms, is feedback, and feedback is the most valuable asset you can acquire. It tells you what needs correction, what needs focus, and where your strategy is weakest. Ignoring it is a choice. Embracing it is power. Br execution matters far more than raw intelligence. Brilliant ideas that die because of fear or hesitation are nothing more than wasted potential. You must approach rejection like a data point in a larger model, objective, unemotional, actionable. There is no room for ego in this process. Ego clouds judgment, delays learning, and invites unnecessary risk. The people who consistently outperform the market, consistently win in negotiations, consistently achieve results are those who use every no as a lever, who turn every barrier into a vector for advancement. They are not immune to failure. They are addicted to the lessons it delivers. Every misstep, every failure, every moment of doubt is cataloged, dissected, and transformed into strategy. That is how the playing field tilts in your favor. If you want to master the art of winning when it hurts, start by redefining rejection. Stop seeing it as personal. Stop seeing it as permanent. See it as an instrument to be analyzed, measured, and deployed. Treat each obstacle as a way to sharpen your instincts, to strengthen your convictions, to identify the gaps in your approach that, once corrected, will make you unstoppable. Survival is not for the cautious. It is for the relentless. Those who learn to thrive amidst rejection, to extract insight from discomfort, to act decisively when others hesitate, are the ones who do not merely participate in the game. They dominate it. Winning is not just about having a brilliant idea or a superior strategy. It is about execution. And execution is fundamentally about persuasion. Every achievement, every market victory, every major deal rests on one simple fact: someone, somewhere, had to be convinced. Convincing is not optional. It is inevitable. You are always selling, whether you realize it or not. You are selling your vision, your judgment, your capacity to act under pressure. The world does not reward potential, it rewards delivery. And delivery requires influence. It requires the ability to present your plan in a way that others cannot ignore, in a way that forces them to align with your conviction. The most successful people do not merely hope that others will see the value of their work. They engineer that perception with precision and discipline. Understand this: persuasion is not manipulation. It is not about tricking someone into agreement. It is about clarity, authority, and timing. You must communicate with absolute confidence, grounded in evidence and rigorous analysis. People respond to conviction when it is backed by skill, preparation, and unassailable logic. You must know not only what you are selling, but also why it matters, who it matters to, and when it will matter most. Waiting for recognition or for luck to validate your ideas is a luxury that few can afford. The market does not pause for hesitation. The opportunity that exists today will not wait while you debate your next move. Selling effectively, therefore, is an act of survival. It is the bridge between potential and reality. Rejection, of course, is part of this process. Not everyone will see your perspective, and not every pitch will land. But the truly effective operator does not internalize these rejections as failure. Instead, they dissect them, they learn, and they adapt. Every no is a test, a way to refine the argument, to sharpen the presentation, to anticipate objections before they are voiced. Those who are unwilling to sell, who are intimidated by the need to persuade, are consistently outperformed by those who embrace it as a skill. They understand that influence is leverage, and leverage is the difference between being reactive and being decisive. Finally, recognize that selling yourself, your vision, or your strategy is a continuous process. It is not a one-off event, but a sustained campaign. Opportunities must be courted, doubts must be preempted, and trust must be earned repeatedly. You cannot assume that past success guarantees future acceptance. Each interaction, each decision, each discussion is a chance to reinforce your credibility, your expertise, and your authority. The more you refine your ability to persuade under pressure, the more resilient your position becomes. Execution and influence are inseparable. One without the other is fragile. Together, they are unstoppable. If you want to achieve results when the stakes are highest, you must accept that you are always selling, not occasionally, not when convenient, always. And you must do so with precision, confidence, and relentless focus. Master that, and you do not merely participate. You dominate the arena in which you operate. Opportunity is always born in the shadow of fear. The people who consistently win are not those who avoid risk. They are those who understand it, measure it, and act decisively where others hesitate. Waiting for perfect conditions is a trap. Markets, industries, and opportunities do not pause for indecision. When everyone else is retreating, paralyzed by uncertainty, that is precisely when the chance to gain disproportionate advantage appears. Risk is not inherently negative. Risk is a signal. It tells you where value exists, where the consensus has failed to price in reality, and where bold action can generate outsized results. To succeed at the highest level, you must learn to identify these inflection points and position yourself accordingly. But understanding risk is not the same as reckless aggression. Winning when it hurts requires discipline, calculation, and a willingness to confront uncomfortable truths. You must quantify your downside, understand the variables you cannot control, and anticipate the ways in which plans can fail. The goal is never to eliminate risk, that is impossible, but to align risk with reward so that when the outcome favors you, the upside is significant, and when it does not, the loss is tolerable. This requires preparation that is exhaustive and meticulous, but it is only half the equation. The other half is courage. Courage is the willingness to move forward when others freeze, to execute when uncertainty is at its peak, and to act decisively in the moment where hesitation would be fatal. Timing is everything. The moment when fear peaks is also the moment when opportunity is at its highest. Those who wait for validation, who wait for comfort, are conceding advantage to those who act. Fortune does not favor the cautious, it favors the prepared and the willing, and preparation without action is nothing more than theory. The successful individual not only calculates risk, but also masters the art of execution under pressure. Every decision, every commitment, every calculated step must be deliberate, informed, and precise. That is how asymmetry works. The right action at the right moment delivers returns that are multiples of the initial exposure. Adaptability is equally critical. Markets, conditions, and dynamics change with the speed that will make hesitation costly. The risk you accepted yesterday may evolve into a new challenge tomorrow. Resilient performers do not cling stubbornly to outdated assumptions. They pivot, recalibrate, and strike again with precision. Fear is transient, but the strategic advantage derived from acting where others cannot is permanent. It is not a question of eliminating uncertainty. It is a question of managing it better than anyone else. Those who can do that consistently build outcomes that seem impossible to those observing from the sidelines. To thrive when it hurts, you must embrace risk as both a teacher and a lever. Understand where the world is overestimating danger and underestimating opportunity. Act decisively, but always with calculation. Accept loss when it occurs, but extract every lesson it provides. And most importantly, cultivate the confidence to act when others are immobilized. That is how advantage is created. That is how momentum is seized. And that is how the game is won when the pressure is at its maximum and the fear is universal. Success is never linear. There is no straight path, no guaranteed trajectory, no formula that produces results without adjustment, without risk, without occasional failure. Those who win when it hurts understand that victory is fleeting if it is not accompanied by constant learning. Every achievement carries with it the seed of complacency, and every success that is celebrated without introspection becomes a liability. The people who outperform consistently are not those who bask in their wins. They are those who dissect them, understand them, and use them as a foundation to evolve. Celebration is temporary. Analysis is permanent. The faster you extract lessons from your losses, the more resilient you become. And the sharper your next move is. The market, the world, the environment around you does not forgive mistakes. It is indifferent to past glories and ruthless toward unprepared minds. Winners embrace that reality. They understand that while success may temporarily mask inefficiencies, it never substitutes for discipline, focus, and execution. Each loss, each miscalculation, each unexpected obstacle is an opportunity to recalibrate and refine your approach. The only way to maintain advantage is to internalize these lessons faster than anyone else. Adaptability, not arrogance, separates the consistently effective from the sporadically fortunate. Waiting to feel confident or waiting for ideal conditions is a form of surrender. Momentum favors those who move first, who adjust swiftly, and who learn faster than the environment itself can change. Emotional intelligence is as critical as technical skill. Pride can be dangerous, ego can blind. The temptation to rationalize mistakes or to overvalue wins is ever present. Those who dominate know that objectivity is an asset. They evaluate results without bias, stripping away emotion and sentiment to reveal the underlying truth. What worked, what failed, why, how. This rigor in reflection is not optional, it is survival. Lessons must be codified into behavior, into strategy, into instinct. The faster the feedback loop between action and learning, the sharper the competitive edge. Those who hesitate to learn or who conflate temporary success with mastery will inevitably fall behind. A critical aspect of winning when it hurts is the understanding that losses are not just setbacks. They are accelerators if leveraged correctly. Pain forces clarity. Failure reveals gaps that would otherwise remain hidden. The question is whether you use that insight to improve or whether you retreat into comfort. Winners do not retreat. They analyze, adapt, and attack again with greater precision. This process creates compounding advantage. Every lesson becomes leverage. Every adjustment creates momentum. Every calculated response positions them ahead of those who are still reacting emotionally to their circumstances. Ultimately, the most valuable skill in navigating adversity is speed of learning. The individual who can extract insight from every failure faster than the competition can exploit opportunities before anyone else emerges, builds resilience that is not easily shaken, and achieves results that appear effortless only in retrospect. Success is not a reward. It is the byproduct of disciplined reflection, rapid adaptation, and an unrelenting commitment to improvement. That is how the game is mastered, and that is how performance becomes extraordinary when the pressure is at its peak. No one achieves extraordinary results alone. Talent, intelligence, and even courage are amplified or diminished by the company you keep. Surrounding yourself with capable, driven, and honest people is not a soft leadership principle, it is a survival imperative. Exceptional performance is never a solo act. The most consistent winners understand that their success is multiplied by the quality of the team around them. They seek out people who challenge assumptions, who push boundaries, who refuse to settle for conventional thinking. Comfort and agreement are not indicators of strength. They are signals of stagnation. To achieve at the highest level, you must create an environment that constantly tests your ideas, forces you to defend your thinking, and exposes flaws before they become failures. The selection of your collaborators is as much strategic as it is tactical. It is not enough to find competent individuals. You must find those whose skills complement your weaknesses and whose vision aligns with the mission at hand. This requires rigorous evaluation, careful observation, and sometimes difficult decisions. Allowing mediocrity to persist is costly. It creates friction, slows execution, and introduces risk that cannot be quantified. Those who consistently excel act decisively to build teams that are stronger than the sum of their parts, not because it is politically convenient, but because it is necessary for survival and dominance in a competitive environment. Trust and accountability are the currencies of high-performing teams. You must cultivate relationships where feedback is direct, decisions are transparent, and responsibility is owned without excuse. Weaknesses are addressed, mistakes are corrected quickly, and victories are shared honestly. The strongest performers do not tolerate ambiguity or defer responsibility. They recognize that uncertainty, when paired with unclear roles, becomes chaos. Clarity, rigor, and accountability transform a group of talented individuals into a cohesive force capable of operating at a level that isolated brilliance cannot achieve. Equally important is the willingness to challenge yourself within that team. You cannot simply surround yourself with talent and expect results to follow. You must absorb criticism, adjust your approach, and leverage the collective insight to refine strategy. The individuals who accelerate their growth are those who embrace challenge, who do not fear disagreement, and who treat constructive conflict as an essential tool for improvement. Strength is not demonstrated by avoiding discomfort. It is demonstrated by engaging with it, learning from it, and using it to advance your position. Finally, high performance is iterative. Teams evolve, markets evolve, and the challenges you face evolve. Exceptional leaders recognize that they must constantly recalibrate the group, elevate standards, and anticipate future requirements before they become urgent. The most enduring advantage comes not from being the smartest person in the room, but from building a room that amplifies intelligence, resilience, and execution. By surrounding yourself with superior forces, you create leverage that magnifies your own abilities, buffers against risk, and positions you to act decisively when the pressure is highest. Success is rarely an individual accomplishment. It is a collective phenomenon, carefully orchestrated, relentlessly refined, and uncompromisingly executed. That is how winning is sustained when the stakes are at their peak. Now, the world is watching. The stakes are at their highest. The pressure is unbearable. The truth is brutal. Comfort is your enemy. Hesitation is your executioner, and everyone else is betting that you won't rise to the challenge. But here's the reality. You can rise, you can dominate, you can turn every rejection, every loss, every ounce of pain into fuel that propels you further than anyone thought possible. Remember this: the fire you feel, the doubt you face, the margins that seem impossibly thin, these are not signals to retreat. They are the signals that separate the ordinary from the extraordinary. Those who embrace the pain, who lean into the fear, who execute when everyone else freezes, those are the ones who rewrite the rules, who seize what others only dream of, and who walk away with the victory that everyone else thought was impossible. So when you step out into the world tomorrow, or the next opportunity, or the next battle, don't wait for comfort. Don't wait for validation. Don't wait for the perfect moment. It doesn't exist. Act, decide, execute. Because the only thing standing between you and winning when it hurts is you. And one final truth to take with you: pain is temporary, regret is permanent, but mastery is eternal. Step into the fire. Take the hit. Win when it hurts. And watch as the world realizes it underestimated you, just like you should have underestimated no one.